His judgment, Asplund released a statement apologizing for its actions. The company said executives accept responsibility for the charges as outlined and apologize to our customers, associates, and all other stakeholders for what has occurred. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more. Reuters reports President Donald Trump on Saturday placed blame squarely on Puerto Ricans for the slow recovery from Hurricane Maria after critics and the mayor of San Juan complained his administration's response to the U.S. territory's plight was insufficient. 11 days after the devastating storm wiped out power, water, and communication systems, more than half of the 3.4 million people on the island do not have access to drinking water, and 95% remain without power, according to the U.S. Defense Department. Trump, who plans to visit the island on Tuesday, fired off a series of angry tweets from his private golf club in New Jersey, taking aim at the mayor of San Juan, the island's capital and largest city. On Friday, Carmen Yulín Cruz criticized Trump's administration and begged for more help, a plea that received widespread television coverage in the mainland United States. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
This is the Onion Week in Review. In local news, a succession of terrible events failed to befall a 33-year-old riding a longboard to his digital media job Monday. Shocked bystanders helplessly watched as media developer Jake Reston skated safely through Manhattan traffic without flipping over on his obnoxiously oversized skateboard and smashing his stupid face into the pavement, with many saying they were horrified at the sight of the floppy-haired little shit walking into his office unscathed.
It was one of the most horrible things I've ever seen. He wasn't even hit by a car. I was just praying that someone would step in and throw him off his stupid little skateboard and punch him right in the mouth.
In other news, a study finds owning a cool leather jacket is more rewarding than raising a child. A community garden sprouts the first condom wrapper of spring, and a little turtle gorges on an entire raspberry.
Tonight in the cabin, schoolmarm's telling about how they talk about corpulation down the school. Only a fool needs telling how to screw. Just let the pecker guide you. But come on, listen anyhow.
This is the Onion News Network.
It's sort of the other opposite side. There you go. It's a little button. Just push that sucker in there. There you go. Thank you.
Good evening, good Sunday evening, broadcasting live here from LRN Studios again. It is the Call to Freedom. Tonight we are going to have some fun. I am joined by my host, as always, Mr. Tom Gray. How you doing tonight, Tom?
Well, Will, what a week it's been.
Super fly.
This week on the Call to Freedom, Donald Trump dedicates his golf trophy to the victims of the Puerto Rican hurricane. I can't really make that up.
Wait, what?
That's like, I don't even have a, yeah, that actually happened. Like, they had a golf tournament at his golf club this weekend, and Trump dedicated the trophy to the Puerto Rican hurricane victims, whom he just insulted and called a bunch of freeloaders, basically.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've been busy. I missed important things like that this week. The only thing I caught was the drama. The only thing I caught this week was the drama, which we're going to get into eventually. Oh, yes, awesome. You're going to have to figure out a way for me to sit in your seat sometime, Ian, because I have to be able to queue up music for all of our stuff. Because we have this week, not only we have Libertarian Drama of the Week and Libertarian Idiot of the Week, I guess. Like, I don't know what else to call it, you know, like... Oh my God! We'll save it for later though, and I'll figure out some kind of a queue up to go along with that. But yeah, that's this week. It's one of those weeks where you look at the Libertarian Party and you're just like, damn it.
So like, that's pretty much every week for a lot of America, but this week it's internal too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, like those people outside the party, their issue is that they don't understand like our views and our values and that kind of thing.
Yeah. I was actually having a conversation earlier today with some of my friends who are kind of on the left, and we were of the general opinion that if libertarians were willing to compromise on the social safety net, that we could end a lot of wars. Unfortunately, we have a lot of libertarians who would rather compromise on the wars and specifically killing the brown people.
Well, Hayek himself was in favor of these social welfare programs. So, I mean, there is a libertarian argument to be made for them.
And Arya comes in with the straight fire, and we haven't even introduced her yet. Will, introduce Arya.
All right, and joined by our, I'd have to say Arya is also just pretty much a regular co-host now of the Cult of Freedom. She is the proprietor of the anarchistshemale.com and soon to be host of a new show on Pax Libertas as well, right?
Yeah. No Gods, No Masters is kind of the polar opposite of, the call.
What just happened?
What is the opposite of the Call to Freedom anyway? Like,
I don't know. I think we just lost Arya. All of a sudden I heard a funny noise and then Arya was like,
hear me?
There you are.
All you heard was a cell phone, dude. Don't freak out.
Yeah, I guess my cell phone was in the background, but
that's what it sounds like when a normal person ends. Will, I'm just saying.
The Call to Freedom is hosted with, a Muslim and an evangelical Christian, and both of you have strong religious roots, whereas No Gods, No Masters is being hosted by two atheists.
Oh, okay. I got you there.
I'm sorry. I'm buying computer software with Bitcoin. And
Lord, Will.
Computer hardware with Bitcoin, and Overstock.com is not cooperating with me. I'm loving living up here, by the way. Like, I'm hating it on some levels because, like the concept of customer service in this country is I show up at your table eventually. And you get your food maybe. And it's right. Probably not, and I feel like everybody in the store is looking at me like I'm an asshole because I expect prompt service and a good product, and so that is driving me absolutely insane. But being able to go and say, I need a pack of papers and a newspaper, and I want a bottle of tea. I'm going to hop over here to Corner News, and I can use cryptocurrencies to grab that. And when I get done with that, I think I'm going to go across the street and get a gigantic hamburger stuffed with a 1/4 pound of American and white cheddar cheese grilled to perfection and some French fries. And I can, again, pay with crypto and then hop down the street and and I can literally like go all over town and I can get my oil changed. I can do so many things here, and I get to not have to contribute to the war machine. It's like it's like this awesome thing that I've spent the last like decade wishing that I could do, which was be able to like live my life in such a way that I don't have to contribute to the war machine. I can buy what I need, or at least most of what I need. And even, doesn't the co-op here take cryptocurrency as well? No? Oh, so close.
One of the crypto guys in town did have a meeting with the manager of the co-op, and it went pretty well. But it would take a big reworking of their point of sale system. It's easy to get a food truck to accept Bitcoin because the owners are there most of the time, and it's just that one cash register. Whereas if you were to do the co-op, it'd have to be a major undertaking. So they didn't say no forever for the future, but we're just getting this thing started here, dude.
Yeah, and where we're at here, it seems to be the most businesses in anywhere in the country, or pretty much, well, except for San Francisco, right? Frisco's got Keen beat.
No, per capita, we destroy San Francisco.
Okay, well, per capita, but total businesses, San Francisco has the most.
Sure.
And Keene would come in second then, right?
No. In total businesses, I don't know where Keene would be.
Oh, okay.
It wouldn't be in the top 10 at all. But per capita, we own San Francisco. Like, we've got 4 times as many businesses per capita as San Francisco does that accepts Bitcoin.
Wow.
So you're much more likely to go into businesses in
that
Keene
have them,
that have it. Yeah,
because it's you go into them all the time. Like, you just walk. Like, I go into businesses and use cash because it doesn't even dawn on me to think, to be like, hey, do you take Bitcoin? And then Ian's like, well, did you spend Bitcoin while you were there? I'm like, well, no. Do they have it? And he's like, look at the map. You know, there's so many businesses that accept Bitcoin here that there's actually a map of the town that shows all of the different businesses, particularly downtown, where you can spend cryptocurrencies and not have to contribute to the war machine in order to do business. And if there's anything that I love about being up here, that would be it.
Dude, we can't even get Will to prep for this show, and you're asking him to look for a map before he goes out and gets a cheeseburger. That's putting an awful lot of onus on somebody who has shown a total lack of own eye.
I did show prep today. We have guests that I eventually will send a link to. And get in here.
You're not helping your case.
Hey man, come on.
He sent me prep stuff before the show. So,
I know what you can do.
He did.
Send me the link, and I'll copy paste it to them. Oh, okay. Well, 'cause I'm just not on it. Tom, do something. Tom, talk about something for 30 seconds so I can get our guests in here, like I should have 5 minutes ago.
All right. Well, we got into it a little bit. Of course,
Yes. All right, shut up, Tom. Yes, we did it. All right, so when we get back here, we're going to have James Weeks II. That's right, the famous fat, naked, dancing libertarian, along with another member of the Freedom Fiends whose name is not making its way into my brain at the moment, but we will have them when we get back here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
Naked Man.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
Off the Air Live. Anything that's fun, we're not allowed to do. It's going to get to the point where we're not even going to be able to take a shit because it feels too nice. They're going to be like, oh, you enjoyed going to the bathroom way too much. We're going to have to regulate how often you do that. We're going to have a time and the place where it's away from the children because we don't want our children to know that this exists. Poop is gross, and they shouldn't find out about poop until they're 18. Would it still be indecent if we were to genetically modify the human body so that nipples had eyelids? Would it be okay for you as a woman to remove the top half of your clothes and go out in public? Because is it just the nipple? Is it just that one part? And if it was covered up by more skin that was the same color as the boob, would it be okay? And then I was thinking this, if you really wanted to genetically modify the body, what you could do is that make sure the nipple only opens up for only people that are above the age of 18, even though when they were babies, they sucked on these things. Off the Air Live, every Saturday night at 10, LRN.FM.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's FFF at FFF.org.
The 3 most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same great prices, and LRN gets a cut. Please do your online shopping at shop.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
All right, and we're back here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM, broadcasting live from the LRN studios here in Keene, New Hampshire now. Been here for, I guess today makes 2 weeks. Yeah, today makes 2 weeks that we have been here in Keene, New Hampshire. My wife and children have gone to Toronto, Canada.
Hey, good evening.
I'm looking, hey, what's up, Daryl? I'm looking for like a small apartment here in Keene for us to stay in.
Hey, how's it going? Good to meet you.
Likewise.
Can
I'm
they
Daryl.
totally not hear me?
Aria.
Aria, thanks.
Aria.
Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Yeah. I was given this invite from Will Coley.
Yeah, hey, what's up, guys? Have you totally not been able to hear me this whole time?
No.
Oh, wow. Has everybody else been able to hear me?
That was that. Oh, I thought it was just me.
So was I just talking to myself for a little while? And
yep.
I don't know. I hope we were broadcasting. I hope I wasn't just broadcasting. Oh, okay, awesome. So, yeah, I guess we were muted from each other for a second because, I don't know, whatever.
Dramatically improve the quality of the show, I'm sure.
Hey, Tom.
I'm bitter now.
Okay, so
you get bitter, Tom, the rest of the night.
Well, that's because you were over there watching wrestling. So
no, there's no wrestling on tonight, and B, I canceled my WWE Network subscription. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Didn't they do something or say something? Somebody, Ed McMahon, something, or Tom or Donald Trump? Or, I don't remember.
Ed McMahon. What the?
I don't know.
Well, he never did deliver me my check before I died, if that's what you're talking about. That big check he used to give everybody. But
I don't. What?
That's got nothing to do with wrestling.
I don't know.
That's Publishers Clearinghouse.
Well, whoever the guy is that runs the thing, and he's got the wife that works for the Trump, right?
That doesn't narrow very much down, does it?
If it's in wrestling, then yeah, I would hope that it does.
It actually
are there
really
like 4 or 5 wrestling gurus that have wives that work for Trump? Is he just like grabbing coochie?
Probably.
So basically he is like the coochie grabber of the wrestling world as well.
Well, yeah, I mean he's in the WWE Hall of Fame.
So he can. Oh, okay. So he can definitely get away with whatever he wants there.
Well, he could back in the day when women didn't really wrestle. Now they would remove his manhood.
Oh my God! Could you imagine him trying to grab China in the Ging Ging?
Yeah, they never did put him on screen with China. There's a good reason for that.
That would
but
be
now
funny.
They got girls bigger and stronger than even China. So
let's put him in the ring again. I mean, I know there's going to be people out there that say that having Donald Trump get back in the ring would be, something unbecoming of the office that he's in. But I mean, honest to God, exactly what has he done so far that it is not?
Actually, we were better off when presidents regularly appeared as spectators, mind you, on WWE television. Reagan, Bush 1, Bush 2, and Clinton were all present at WrestleMania at different times. So thanks, Obama, for ruining everything for the rest of us. But back to what you were saying, there is a female wrestler right now, Nia Jax, who is The Rock's cousin, and she is bigger than The Rock. So let's get Trump in there with her and just see what happens.
All right, now, is James Weeks here yet? Is James Weeks here yet?
Not yet.
No. Well,
James likes to show up like after we've already started.
I know this. I'm surprised that he made it on time to the striptease at the convention.
He was very on time for things he wants to be on time for.
Right. It's almost like you and I know the same James.
Of course. I mean, I've done at least about 10 shows with James, Freedom Fiends.
I think I've done 5 or 6 shows with him on here in the last since we've been on the air. He's a favorite. He's a favorite guest. He's the literally world famous fat naked libertarian. I mean,
yeah, that's powerful. That's much better than the crying Nazi.
The crying
as
Nazi.
Far as a nomiker,
He lives like 2 miles from here. The crying
2 miles?
Nazi.
Oh, that's awesome. See, I'm
It's
so
2
far
miles,
away from
right?
y'all.
It's 2 miles, right? 2 miles from here. Yeah, everything's 2 miles. Everything in Keene is 2 miles from everything else.
Well, then maybe he's walking over there.
No, not from.
Probably getting undressed on the way.
Not from where where he is right now. He's not really going a whole lot of anywhere from where he is right now.
Michigan. So yeah.
Well, no, not James. I'm talking about the crying Nazi.
Oh, Charlotte. See, that's
he's in Charlotte right now. He's not going a whole lot of places. Oh, Lord. So, okay. All right. So we're waiting on James. Well, since we're waiting on James, go ahead, Ian, and cue up our music for this week's Libertarian Drama of the Week. Sounds great on
It's the old music.
It is.
All this time where I couldn't hear the music, I thought we were using like the newer one that had.
No. I usually use
1980s.
Ian didn't click the one I normally would do. I usually get the one from 77 because there's one. Yeah, there you go. Oh yes.
There it is. That's what I was
Dance through the hourglass. So is the crap these sissies whine about. Oh my God, there's so much this week.
Yeah, do you have some face beef to talk about?
Oh my God, Nicholas Sarwark said something libertarian and people got mad again. Michael Dean has lost his mind. Or at least is having is having like bigot Tourette's. Let's see here. Jason Weinman is, thank God, no longer the vice chair of the Libertarian Party of Nevada, because he says really stupid things.
Is that who that guy is?
Yeah. Well, he used to be the vice chair of the Libertarian Party of Nevada. And now he's the libertarian guy who says the non-aggression principle should be scrapped, or the Libertarian Party will become, a footnote in history, which it already is. I mean, the Libertarian Party is that thing, you know, like there's always the discussion in the Islamic tradition about this one group, and there'll always be a minority, and there'll always be more people that reject them than embrace them. But there'll always be these people who stand up for what is right. And we are those people. And if you're a minority, let's just embrace it. You know, but there are those people, they want to torpedo the party because they want to be popular. But yeah, we'll be back. Hopefully we'll have James Weeks with us. We're going to talk about all of these libertarian drama stories here on The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
That's right. We're broadcasting live on YouTube. Maybe I shouldn't dance in the studio like I usually do. We're back here, guys, on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. Wow, the music is perfect again. Wow. Backstabbers. Man. So, yeah, we've got this cat named Jason Weinman. He used to be the Libertarian Party's vice chair in Nevada, and I guess he's recently moved and no longer holds a leadership position, thank the heavens. But he has extreme opinions. He calls himself a radical, but he says things like the non-aggression principle should be removed from the Libertarian Party unless the Libertarian Party wants to be a failure from here into the future. And, well, I mean, Aria, please, because I'm just speechless at the stupidity.
It seems to me that it's a symptom of the idea that the Libertarian Party exists solely to win elections.
Not to carry a message. Tom, you're an outsider. Let's have your opinion.
The NAP is the easiest part of the Libertarian Party platform to explain to non-libertarians. That's the part of it. Like, you get through, yeah, okay, let's destroy the social safety net and make all the kids go back to the coal mines to pay for their health insurance. I'm speaking and let's completely drop the military and have everybody have their own tanks and cannons.
Yeah,
and after
you're talking.
After you get done explaining all of that to everybody, now this guy's like, no. We need to get rid of the part that says don't punch people.
Right, yeah, don't be an asshole. Don't take people's stuff and don't hurt people.
No,
that's the hard part that you have to get rid of.
We must allow for people to be stolen from. That's what the people want. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying when it comes to revamping the party platform supposedly to be more accessible, you could leave that one in there for a while and maybe try not to have as many dead kids as part of the platform. That's just my hot take.
A few victims will help, as long as the victims aren't me. That's okay, right?
Yes, victims. That's what a good political movement needs. Ask the British.
I want the right victims, those who need to suffer because they deserve it.
Well, I mean, that's what helped bring Trump into office. I mean, there is something to say for those who want to see the right people suffer.
That's what he's getting at, isn't it? He's one of those libertarians who's like, any aid that goes to the suffering must be voluntary or else we will make it involuntary.
Well, no, actually, it's the opposite from what I've seen from Jason, is that he's his ideas are like, he's very pro-Weld. Like, when I saw him arguing as to why it was okay for Weld to endorse Obamacare, because if we didn't have Obamacare, then people would go to the emergency room and then not pay their bill. And because of that, we need socialized medicine. Or it's at least it's okay for libertarian vice presidential candidates to advocate for socialized medicine during a vice presidential campaign. I mean, this is somebody who won an election to a state office in the Libertarian Party.
And he considers himself a radical.
Yes, he considers himself a radical.
Well,
I mean, that's radical from a libertarian perspective, I guess. I mean, that's redefining libertarianism in a radical way.
Right.
perhaps radical in the way Raphael from the Ninja Turtles might have described a bad pizza.
Right.
Not so
yeah,
much.
Sure. It's radical to put horse crap on pizza.
You know what?
I'm not sure that it really makes a good pizza.
I totally forgot that we are broadcasting live on YouTube tonight, and from here on out, that
you were just talking about that 3 minutes ago.
Well, no. There was something else though. We can also take calls on the LRN listener line on Skype. Username LRN.FM. That's right. We can finally take calls. So as we move on to the next topic, and Michael, okay, I love you, Michael. You helped start my career in working in the liberty movement. I had already worked in radio for about a year and a half in Florida, and then I left Florida and I came to Tennessee. And the first time that I got on a nationally syndicated radio show after I left Florida was Michael W. Dean with Freedom Fiends. And so I love Michael, but brother, I know you listen to the show. I know you listen to LRN all the time. Brother, you've lost your mind. I don't know what's happened. I don't know what Muslim store shop owner or gas station clerk looked at your wife the wrong way or gave you the finger or shorted you on your change the other day, but give it a rest, bro. You're starting to sound like Chris Cantwell. So anyway, we've got one of the Fiends on here with us tonight. We were trying to have a couple of the Fiends, but we only got one, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
But, yeah, well, I mean, we only got one. I was hoping to have 2 or 3 of you guys offer to come on the show, but 2 of you offered. James isn't coming, so I've got Daryl with us tonight, and we are. What's going on? Explain to me. Do you even know what's going on? Do the Fiends really know what's happening with why Michael is suddenly to me? It looks like he's trying to pick a fight with Davy Barker.
I don't really like to make presumptions about what people are doing on Facebook.
Well, I'm not asking you to make. I don't want you to make a presumption. I'm not asking you to make a presumption. I'm saying, do you know?
What do you want from me then? What would you like?
Do you know? Do you know?
Make stuff up.
That's what I said. Do you know?
Come on.
Okay, there you go. Okay, now you're talking.
Right.
So it's
do you know? And if the answer is no, then if you don't know, then.
You asked for me a sincere question of what's going on, and I think I'd love to help add some clarity, right?
Okay.
Is that what you want?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, it's really this simple. So, for some reason, Michael W. Dean chose to post, or under his Michael Fiend account there, he posted Islam is toxic. So how you interpret those 3 words is really on you, and for that matter, how much importance you give it.
He didn't stop there though. He's continued with more.
For me, in my life, I've got so many more important things to actually focus my time and energy on, because guess what?
You're not Muslim.
Yeah. So
That's why.
You know what? Now, what thoughts happened in my mind when I saw that, and then when he tagged me in a comment on that post? Well, that's a different thing entirely. All of a sudden, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because
then it is your circus.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's kind of now I'm very interested, because I don't really understand the backstory on this. Kind of like what you just said, Will. You were just saying what just happened to generate this post. And you're right. We're both in the dark. And I like to just say, okay, the person who can get the light on this one is Michael.
Yeah.
So,
I would love for him to call the show and be like, hey, what's up, guys? Because I know he listens, because he tells me and critiques the show to me if I do a really bad job. He sends me a message on Facebook and is like, which is a reason why I respect him, and a reason why I'm like, okay, this doesn't make any sense to me. And it's not just that post the other day. It's continued since then. He's continued to make more posts, and it seems to me almost like he's trying to make a point or create some kind of an issue where there never has been one before. And to me, it's something that's kind of odd, because I'm seeing this happen in other places in the liberty community where people, like Chris Cantwell, who, 3 years ago was just a pissed off libertarian and now is the national face for white supremacy. There have been these huge jumps in the course of a couple of years, and they usually start with what Michael's doing today, which is, I don't like Muslims. And then I don't like Muslims becomes, I don't like Muslims and Jews. And then it becomes, well, I don't like anybody that's different. And it balloons into this thing. And I'd like to see people who care about Michael to do something earlier.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Toll House Morsels, helping you create special moments and memories your family will cherish forever. Visit us at tollhouse.com. You may bake for birthdays and holidays, but why stop there? Sweeten up the rest of the year by designating monthly dessert days. Treat your family to one of their favorites or surprise them with something new. Either way, you'll create a tradition everyone will love. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit did your nerves spike. You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to SaveItPurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. SaveItPurse.com.
The three most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
Tom. All right, and we're back here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. Broadcasting live from the LRN studios here in Keene, New Hampshire. I am joined by my normal host, as always, Mr. Tom Gray, along with Aria DeMezzo from anarchistshemale.com, and our guest, Daryl. Goodness. Introduce yourself, Daryl.
I'm Daryl Becker.
Daryl
Becker, and I've been on the Freedom Fiends about 11 times now.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. I've done other media too.
I've been on
School Socks Project, School Socks Podcast, for example. Do a lot of that.
Oh, okay. All right. Now I recognize. Right on. I recognize now.
Yeah.
So like I said, for me, when I see this, it is the beginning of what I see as a pattern. And I saw this. There's a number of liberty activists that I've seen kind of go down this road. Another who is dear to my heart is Tony DiDomizio, who was an awesome activist that I used to work with, who changed his name to Salt Al Bok, whatever that is, and became he went from like a hardcore Ron Paul delegate guy to like this. He's insane now. Like he's basically an alt-righter in the line of Chris Cantwell. And it started like he was a co-sponsor of the Million Muslim March in like 2014. And by the end of 2016, he's like, deport them, and the ones you can't deport, lock up, and the ones you can't lock up, throw them in the ovens. And it started out with, I've decided I don't like Muslims. And that's where it begins. And it's almost like that's the acceptable prejudice that people are just like, oh, well, it's normal not to like Muslims. And that's where it starts. And then it just begins this like snowball down a hill into like Alex Jones. Like you become, and that's what happens. And I love Mike. I've known Mike for years. He helped start the career that I have now. With a couple debates that he set up back in the day, like years and years ago. And to see him kind of like see that thing start and hit on with him, it's just kind of depressing to me, I guess you could say. It bothers me. And
what if you're reading too much into this, huh?
I hope I am, but seeing like multiple posts over the course of more than one day, it kind of gives that impression like that kind of thing is starting. And I think it's something that we're seeing in the movement, and it really, at the very least, it deserves discussion. This is something that is happening. We can observe it.
What is it? What's the it?
The devolution.
Islamophobia.
Yeah, the use of the hatred. The use of
yes, you do actually, because you're burying the lead if you don't spell it out for people.
Yeah, see, absolutely.
If you're saying that he is afraid of Islam, I don't know.
P-H-O-B-I-C.
Well, yeah, I don't think phobia is the right word either. I don't think Islamophobia is the right word.
See?
Let's
get accurate. What's going on here?
I use the term Islamomesia, which is hatred. You know, it's a hatred of a certain group or a certain belief system. And I think that he is beginning to embrace this ideal of Islamomesia, of having an irrational dislike, distaste, or hatred of Muslims or Islam. And that it's a normal thing now for the trip to the alt-right to begin there.
Can I grab a specific comment, Will?
Sure.
Not one of the prime ones, but I'm reading down on the thread. So let's dig into this comment by Michael Feen. Quote, Islam is largely resistant to modernity. You know, that whole thing of not letting women drive or read or do math, for starters. What the hell? How is that not Islamophobia? Is that an acceptable way to characterize 1.3 billion people?
There's only one country.
I think it's the hasty generalization, dude. That's what that is. It's the same thing saying all the 1.4 billion people are this or that. But I think that there's an objection to some type of philosophy that would lend towards people. So it might be a cry for concern saying, hey, if these types of religions tend to pop up around these types of totalitarian people, and correlation is causation sometimes, you know that one, right? You know, like thinking that just because you have correlating people in certain areas where you have totalitarian women can't drive situations.
There are no women can't drive situations anymore.
You know? It looks pretty crappy.
And that's what I find kind of perplexing is that is that he
Well, that's true.
he chooses the day or the day after Saudi Arabia gets rid of their law that women can't drive. So now there's no country where women can't drive. And there was only one country to start with, and that was Saudi Arabia.
And it's the one that all the mainstream Muslims hate, by the way.
Yeah, so like
if you listen to the show.
So you only have one country that's ever practiced that. And the day after they get rid of that practice, and it's international news, it's everywhere, on that day, you decide to post about how it's barbaric that women can't drive in Muslim countries. When, newsflash, dude, the whole world now knows that is the opposite everywhere.
Can I interject something?
Yeah, please, Aria. Please do.
Largely, until I met Will, I was extremely ignorant of Islam, and I still am to a large extent. I know very little about the religion itself, but here in America, especially, we do have this image of Muslims being these hyper devout Saudi Arabian types. That is generally what is perpetuated to us, and until actually go out and meet Muslims, that image, it just kind of sticks in the back of people's mind, whether they mean it to or not.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, we stayed in that hotel there in New Hampshire when we first got here that was run by a Muslim family. And they were just a small immigrant family that had bought an old hotel that some old family here that had passed away, and the kids didn't want to have to run it, and they came in and they bought it, and it was a husband and a wife, and they were cleaning the rooms, they were renting the rooms, they were taking care of the inn. What's more American than that? That is coming here.
I don't doubt that at all.
And having the American dream.
Muslims are as awesome as anyone else.
We had a couple Muslim families come over the course of the last 2 days to the Malik Center. One came from Connecticut. It's a guy. He's a black belt in Taekwondo. His wife is a black belt in Taekwondo. They're a Taekwondo family of 7. They're the same size as my family, and they're all awesome in martial arts. And it's because he was a martial arts trainer, you see those kinds of families all over America. And I mean, he works for a shipping company and this, that, and the other. And now he's had sickness, and like he's in a wheelchair now. I mean, he's having experiences that families all over the country have had to go through, watching dad end up in a wheelchair, who, like these, and it's always like that Oprah story of like this perfect dad who's like a black belt in 3 martial arts and flips beer kegs, and then all of a sudden at 35 he's in a wheelchair and blah 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 blah. And that he's having, I mean, those American experiences, and they're a Muslim family, and they came to see the center. There's another family, they've been living in this area for 7 years, and they've had to just kind of be alone because there's no place for them, there's no house of worship for them, and them coming out, and like you've got all the isolated feeling that you have some Americans going through right now. All of those experiences, the experience you're having right now, the listener out there, the experience you're having, there's a Muslim family or a Muslim individual having a similar experience in this country right now. Right now, you having a hard time paying the electric bill? I bet there's a Muslim guy that lives somewhere in your town that his family's having a hard time paying the electric bill too.
Inshallah.
We're all in this. You know what I'm saying? We're all in there. We're all living it. Some of us are just living it a little higher than others.
I'm feeling the Muslim pride right now. Feeling it.
So, I mean, I don't want to see us lose another person that I respect, because we've lost so many people that I've worked with in the last 10 years, in the last year. So many activists that I've had so much respect for.
I'll make sure this is not a tragedy.
I hope so, man. We really do. And Michael, if you're out there listening, which you probably are, from the Call to Freedom here, we love you, my brother. Please come on the show with us sometime. Now we're broadcasting live. We'll be back here in just a few on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
Feel the love.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu. 641-793-9660.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, October 1st, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.65 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,279 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 4.2 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $4,280. Antiwar.com reports, once again reflecting general U.S. support for the status quo in national boundaries, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson insisted the U.S. would not recognize the results of Iraqi Kurdistan's referendum from earlier in the week. Kurdistan voted to secede with over 92% in favor, a vote with massive turnout. Tillerson insisted the vote lacks legitimacy, specifically complaining that it was conducted unilaterally without permission from the Iraqi central government, and adding that the U.S. supports a heavily unified Iraq, yet the accuracy of the numbers are not in question, at least not in any relevant way. Iraqi Kurdistan has long been known to have an overwhelming majority supporting secession, and the vote just reflected that. Rather, the U.S. sees its deep investment in ties to Iraq potentially being wasted by Iraq losing its regional significance with Kurdish independence. Moreover, the Trump administration has repeatedly gone on the record in opposition to secession movements in general, having also criticized the Catalonia vote. Tillerson did, however, urge the whole nation to avoid the use of force. That's something, at least, since Iraq, Iran, and Turkey all seem to be preparing for war against Kurdistan to bring it back under Baghdad's thumb. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a Pennsylvania-based tree trimming company was ordered to pay a record $95 million fine for hiring thousands of immigrants who did not have permission to work in the United States. Federal prosecutors said Asplund Tree Experts, which employs about 30,000 people in the United States, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, hired thousands of workers who were in the United States illegally or who did not have work visas. Furthermore, the privately owned company's hiring structure enabled top management to remain willfully ignorant of the hiring practices. cause. Homeland Security investigators began auditing Asplin's hiring practices in 2009. Eventually, Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers determined thousands of the company workers were hired improperly and handed the company a list of names for those whom were hired illegally. Asplin fired hundreds of workers and scores more quit before they could be fired and promised ICE it would reform its hiring practices. Instead of doing so, prosecutors alleged the company doubled down on the hiring strategy, bringing back many of the workers it let go, provided the individuals were able to secure forged or stolen documents that would enable the company to appear as though they had followed the law. Prosecutors also say the company specifically sought to hire undocumented workers because their salaries were lower than those who were legally in the country, and the general lack of family ties in the country made them more mobile. In response to Friday's judgment, Asplin released a statement apologizing for its actions. The company said executives accept responsibility for the charges as outlined and apologize to our customers, associates, and all other stakeholders for what has occurred. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more. Reuters reports President Donald Trump on Saturday placed blame squarely on Puerto Ricans for the slow recovery from Hurricane Maria after critics and the mayor of San Juan complained his administration's response to the U.S. territory's plight was insufficient. 11 days after the devastating storm wiped out power, water, and communication systems, more than half of the 3.4 million people on the island do not have access to drinking water, and 95% remain without power, according to the U.S. Defense Department. Trump, who plans to visit the island on Tuesday, fired off a series of angry tweets from his private golf club in New Jersey, taking aim at the mayor of San Juan, the island's capital and largest city. On Friday, Carmen Yulín Cruz criticized Trump's administration and begged for more help, a plea that received widespread television coverage in the mainland United States. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
It's being called the must-have tech gadget of the year. The Samsung Apex, which hits shelves today, streams video into your left eye, internet into your right eye, and sucks your dick all at the same time. Samsung spokesman Neil Werner is projecting the biggest sales in his company's history.
Are you kidding me? This thing does everything, plus it sucks your dick, all right? And I know what you're thinking. And yes, ladies, there is a version for you that eats you out. Hanging up Apple, we beat you to the punch on this one. Samsung's got you by the balls.
In spite of the almost $1,000 price tag, customers are raving about the device.
For my career, I do need the internet and TV, and my dick sucked all the time.
I already have a TV and a girlfriend and a laptop, but to have all those in one device would be really nice.
Even a run of bad press about unsafe working conditions in the Apex factory in India have not dampened sales projections.
Yeah. Factory, switch up, blah, blah. How about you just plug your eyeball straight into the internet and get your dick sucked?
This is the Onion News Network.
Era of great power. We're back here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. Broadcasting live, as you see behind me, if you're watching live on YouTube right now, from the LRN studios here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. Relocated from our Liberty bunker in the beautiful Smoky Mountains of East Tennessee. But we are still joined from those rolling hills by my normal co-host, Mr. Tom Gray. And my other Southern co-host, the Belle Miss Aria Demezio, who is moving up here soon, if I am not mistaken. Isn't that correct, Aria?
That is correct.
Woohoo!
On up to the east side.
Yeah, the way east, northeast, east side. Lord have mercy, it's cold up here already, y'all. What's the temperature like down there right now, Tom?
I don't want to hear that.
It's gorgeous.
Like, define gorgeous, man, because I mean it's in the 70s during the day here. It is like jogging weather. Like you could jog in like a thin shirt and a pair of pants and be straight.
It was right between 60 and 70 all day here from sun up to sundown, and now it's a perfectly clear night, and you can see an exact half moon hanging right above my farm.
What's the temperature up there right now?
I'm not going outside to find that out.
Well, you can just look at your phone, can't you? Remember, this is the 21st century where we don't have to go outside to know what's going on. You just pick my phone up, hit the refresh button, and
why do I care?
Oh, look, it's 11:08 p.m., 41 degrees, and foggy.
It is 52 degrees here and partly cloudy. The low tonight will be 48.
Our low tonight is 37. So we're just a little, see, it's not that much difference. See, I'm telling you, man, right now, it feels right now like it used to feel in Tennessee when we were kids. You know, like before Halloween, the temperature would start dropping, and it would be like sweater underneath of your costume weather by the time Halloween got here. Now it's like sweating in your costume weather.
Will, are you saying that the climate has changed in the last 30 years?
It has. Of course it has. It changed dramatically.
You liberal scum.
It changed dramatically about 5 or 6 years ago.
If the freedom fiends don't hate you now, you're screwed now.
Well, I believe in equatorial shift. You know, we've had 6 or 7 major earthquakes. And some scientists have argued that the Earth's tilt has moved some, and that could easily account for the fact that the seasons in Tennessee have moved, because we still get as cold and stay as cold as long. I mean, none of that's really changing. It's just that those temperatures aren't coming until a little late in the year, and they're staying a little later in the year. So now instead of getting my last frost and having blackberry winter at the beginning, in the middle of March, beginning of April, I'm now having that happen like April the 20th, April the 27th. You know, it's happening later in the year. So that's not saying that the climate is that we're having like these massive warming trends. It's just that now fall seems to be coming a little bit later than it used to in East Tennessee.
So, Will, question. Did we just do 5 minutes on the weather because you don't want to jump right back into the fact that this Michael Fiend guy's an Islamophobe?
No, I just...
Because I want to jump right back into that. Especially now that there's no one here to defend him. Let's just...
this is why we love Tom.
Right back out there with it.
Tom's like a giant bulldog. This is going to piss people off. Let's do this.
Well, no, he pissed me off first. I'm just retaliating in kind, you know? Offsetting personal fouls, as they say. But we didn't get to it in the last segment, you know. Our guest, whose name already escapes me, or perhaps I just don't want to attach his name to anything he can't defend against, which I think is being fair of me. He asked the question, what if this was just a one-off? To which, you know, we had some discussion, but note that, like, right, the day after that, Mr. Fiend posted an article about a terrorist in France. And I'll say he's a terrorist just because he yelled in his Muslim phrase. I'm not willing to call him an Islamic terrorist, but he is a terrorist. Killing 2 people in a French train station before being shot dead. And his commentary was, I'm sure, this is Michael Fiend's commentary, I'm sure some of y'all will say, but that's not real Islam. But isn't it? What's your basis for saying that? In most cases, because you heard someone else say it. And I can think of someone he might have heard say that terrorists aren't real Muslims, but he seems to have forgotten you exist, Will.
Well, no, what he said was... I said
Islam is toxic. He said it again.
Well, no, I said, okay, so you just stated that I'm a valid source of information on Islam. And he said, yes. And he called me a scholar, which is a term that I actually reject for myself. I see myself as a student, not as a scholar. I'm the men I learned from are scholars, and they've been studying for 30 years. I've been studying for 13. I'm just not on their level yet. And one day, inshallah, I will be. But today is not that day. But he referred to me as a scholar, but then said that I wasn't representative of what Islam teaches. So somehow I'm a scholar of the religion and know what it teaches and teach others what it teaches, but am not a practitioner of it myself, even though what I teach and what I do are the same thing. I mean, that's to me, that's nonsensical. It's literally having two different positions at the same time, which is why I'm like, okay, what's going on? Because that, to me, like, Michael's always been somewhat, reasonable. So now this is an openly contradicting position that you've stated here, which usually isn't the sign of someone, usually that's a sign that somebody's meds are out of whack.
Yeah, and I'm
just trying to give him the benefit of the doubt because I like Michael, so I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I did the same things for Chris. I liked Chris. We were friends, and I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. And sadly, he disappointed me. And now he's the crying Nazi, for Christ's sake. He's now like the national face of white supremacy. And he used to be my friend.
So someone in the chat room actually was surprised that Mr. Fiend was back on Facebook at all. He asked, well, wait, wasn't there something on Twitter? Because he's usually a Twitter guy now. So I went to the official Freedom Fiends Twitter, which bears Mr. Dean's name. And a few days before, he launched into the anti-Muslim screed. And this is going back to something you said last segment. After Muslims, who's the next sort of acceptable group to go after? It's Jewish people. So on the 25th, we have a series of tweets from Mr. Dean about Anthony Weiner, who, of course, we all have opinions on for other reasons, but it's worth noting he is Jewish, demanding that Mr. Weiner, quote-unquote, pull a Bud Dwyer. I'm assuming, Will, you probably know who Bud Dwyer was.
Yes.
But yeah, just multiple things. Will Anthony Weiner pull a Bud Dwyer? Freedom Fiends radio episode here. They did a whole episode on it. So, yeah, meds out of whack, maybe.
Hey, Tom, why don't you remind the listeners who Bud Dwyer is while you're rambling on and on?
How about after the music? After we get back from the break.
All right, so yeah, all right, then we will do that, and we will remind you guys who we are actually talking about when we get back from the break here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
Are you tired of governments around the world killing innocent people? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin is money that cannot be inflated or controlled by any state. By continuing to use their money, you're perpetuating the killing. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available to you now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. It's Bitcoin.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phones, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.lrn.fm. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit the Liberty Radio Network when you shop at Amazon via shop.lrn.fm.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Right, and we're back here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. And, we've just been kicking it here tonight, discussing some of the libertarian drama that's been going on. The tendency for popular libertarians lately to begin with attacking Muslims, and then the next thing you know, they're Chris Cantwell crying about how their Nazi ideology has landed them in jail, or there's Stefan Molyneux complaining about, the immigrants, or we've seen it so many times now. I mean, it's not like this is something that we're just imagining is a problem. This is something that's happened over and over and over and over again. Popular voices in the libertarian community going from being libertarians to being lunatics. And the first step has thus far always been going from having a perspective of, okay, there are idiot Muslims that Western governments have put into power in Muslim countries who now oppress those people to keep Western governments and businesses happy, to, never mind, it's the religion. That government involvement and all that other stuff, then none of that's real anymore. I don't believe that that's having any effect whatsoever. It's religious. It's the religion. And all these people that I know, all these Muslims that I've met over the years, they're all an inaccurate representation of Islam. And then the next thing is, we shouldn't let any more of them in the country. And then it becomes, well, we shouldn't allow them to build their houses of worship. And then it becomes, well, then we really shouldn't let any more immigrants in the country. And then that becomes, Oh, them there brown folks, they're outbreeding us. They're outbreeding us, you know. They have, you know, what we have now, like your mama had, your great-great-grandmama, she had 19 children, and she know who all of their daddies was. And then your grandma, she had 7 children. Right? And then now your mama, she had 4 children, and she only know who 3 of them's daddy was. All right, now. And now all you've got is an abortion and a dog. So now the mudbloods and the Jews and the brown folk, they gonna outbreed us. 'Cause all you've got is 3 abortions and a dog.
Point of order here. Is this Fiend guy even Southern? Why are you giving him a Southern accent?
Because I heard the exact same arguments from my literal white supremacist stepfather when I was 15 years old growing up in the hills of East Tennessee. Like literal Aryan Brotherhood, covered in the tattoos, white supremacist. And that was literally the exact same argument with a Nazi flag hanging on the wall in the living room. Exact same argument he was giving me in 1993.
But Will, we've got to back off of the non-aggression principle to make sure that guy votes libertarian, though.
Because otherwise we can't win.
Exactly. You never win off.
Well, what I think is funny is the people who are saying this, that we need to get rid of the non-aggression principle, the people who are saying we need to get rid of the non-aggression principle are usually also the mega social justice warriors within the libertarian community, like Weinman. Weinman is like, he's a softcore Democrat. He's a weld libertarian, so to speak. He is softcore Democrat. That's what he is. And so is like Anthony DeLugos. These people are softcore Democrats. They are social justice warriors with moderate, somewhat libertarian ideas on economics sometimes. I'm not really sure when, but they say they have them sometimes. I mean, they call themselves radicals. Both of them do. But their ideas are basically that if Hillary Clinton would join the party and call herself a libertarian, they would vote for her in the primary and as a delegate in the convention, and then as the presidential candidate for the Libertarian Party because she's going to win the most votes. So, you know. Did I get all that out in one sentence? Did you guys? Did I lose all of you?
Was that a sentence? If it was a sentence, it was a run-on sentence.
I'm sure I run on a lot.
Hey, Will, what part
That's
of
how I got a
Florida
radio
did you
show.
live in?
Do what?
What part of Florida did you live in?
Ocala, and in St. Pete, and in Tampa for a while.
Okay, just for our listeners, that's the accent he was doing. That wasn't really a Tennessee accent.
Yeah. That was central
Backwater, Florida.
Yeah, Backwater, Florida. Well, I have all my uncles have that accent. I have a ton of uncles that lived, and you know what? They celebrated James Earl Ray Day on Martin Luther King Day. So, jeez. I come from this is the reason why, like, when I see modern social justice warriors talk about all the racism in America and like how racist things are, I just laugh at them because I'm like, look, man, I grew up around real racism. You know, and like what you're like microaggression, like this microaggression crap, you know, like, oh, well, you know, I feel bad. Look, man, like I grew up around people that like they're dead or like their ideas are so insane that even now they're still not acceptable in the public sphere. Like people who would, all right, I have family, okay, that literally took they made a black mannequin and put a rope around its neck and put it on the back of a truck and stood in a Klan outfit and drove it through the black part of town with a Dixie horn and honked the horn over and over again. And this was in the 90s. Like I've seen real racism, like the kind of like unchecked racism like you see in other countries nowadays. I saw that stuff growing up. And I'm sorry, but this microaggression crap is not racism. You know, somebody asking a somewhat insensitive question, mostly because they're either curious or they themselves feel socially uncomfortable, that's not racism. Okay, that's not racism. That's not a person hating you or thinking they're better than you because of your skin color, your culture, or whatever. That's somebody who's trying just as hard as you are to navigate the social space without offending someone or to make conversation and seem polite. That's what that is. That's not trying to be a bigot. Somebody saying like, go home towelhead, that is bigot. That is bigotry. Someone saying that another person's religion is toxic, or trying to associate that like one particular faith has a monopoly on violent idiots, that is bigoted. But asking stupid questions or saying you like the way someone's hair looks, like, oh, I like black people hair, that is not prejudice, okay? That is the opposite of prejudice. It's saying, hey, look, I may be socially awkward, but I appreciate this thing about you. I'm trying to share that with you. Please don't be an asshole to me because of the fact that I have a skin color with less melanin in it than you. Tom has nothing to say. That's the first time that's ever happened. Yes!
Nope.
Our planet is but a giant petri dish swirling with pathogens, all mixed by the filthy stirring straw that is the world's fauna. Simply by sitting on her eggs and breathing, this duck unleashes a torrent of avian botulism, cholera, and duck plague into the air. These jousting elk slough off bits of skin and fur, sending millions of harmful bacteria into the air. Our closest relative, the chimpanzee, is itself the fountainhead of AIDS. Bitter at the ascendancy of man, these scheming apes brood this deadly virus in their jungle lairs. Nowhere on Earth is safe from the threat of animals. Even in the bitter wasteland of the Antarctic, penguins walk for miles inland, ensuring their afflictions reach every corner of the globe.
This is the Onion News Network.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin. mymagicmud.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Fact. The new NSA data center in Utah requires 1.7 million gallons of water every single day to operate. Billions of Fourth Amendment violations need massive computers and the water to cool them. That water is being supplied by the state of Utah. Fact. There's absolutely nothing in the Constitution which requires your state to help the feds violate your rights. Our message to Utah: turn it off. No water equals no NSA data center. Visit offnow.org.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
And we're back here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. Joined tonight by my normal co-host, Mr. Tom Gray, broadcasting from the beautiful Smoky Mountains of East Tennessee, and Miss Aria Demezio from anarchistshemale.com. And we've started out discussing, well, a little bit of nothing, and then got into the libertarian drama of the week, which, as usual, you know what? For a little while there, we were doing pretty good. We only had like one story that was a possibility. We didn't really have to argue. It was just like, okay, this was the story. But then for the last few weeks, particularly this week, and this week I was just like, you know what? There's just so much crap on a mountain. Like, let's just talk about all of it. So, do you have anything else you want to say about this, Tom? Well, I know Tom has like a final word. He likes to have the final word. So go ahead and get your final word in there, Tom.
How are you going to cut me off this time?
I'm not. I'm going to shut up.
We just got back.
Ian, so mute my microphone.
Okay. Well, I was supposed to explain who R. Bud Dwyer was. I don't really necessarily want to do that on the air. Suffice it to say, he killed himself on air, and apparently that's what Mr. Michael Dean wants a certain Jewish politician who was recently convicted of a crime to do, I suppose also on air for his enjoyment. And we were discussing how the two groups that when these people go off the rails, they seem to target are Muslims and Jewish people. So summing that up, Mr. Dean, what the heck, dude? Can we hear from you? So we know you're okay and not, completely off the rails. That's what Will wants anyway. I don't really care. Okay, so Sarwark. Arya wants to talk about Nick Sarwark.
I'm back on now. I'm back on. Awesome. Yeah. So evidently, Nicholas Sarwark said something libertarian about immigration, which means that he is the epitome of everything that is wrong with the party. He made a statement in public that the Libertarian Party does not believe in using terms like illegal immigrants. Basically that the Libertarian Party does not believe that there is any such thing as an illegal immigrant, that free people pass freely across free and open borders, that's the libertarian position. And of course, since he said something libertarian, moderates and alt-right types in the party are screeching like triggered liberal snowflakes all over the country. So there we go. That's the last story of our libertarian drama of the week this week. Big up and fist in the air to Mr. Nick Sarwark. Thank you for standing up for the libertarian principles, the 1980 Libertarian Party platform, and the founding values of the Libertarian Party, that free people cross imaginary lines anytime they damn well please, with or without the state's permission, and no human being is illegal. Go ahead, Arya.
Well, he has a really difficult job, doesn't he? I mean, no matter what he says, he's either going to have the radicals pissed off, can't say that, or the moderates angry, or the alt-right angry. I mean, no matter what he says, he's going to make angry some segment of the libertarian population.
Well, that's why I like his philosophy is no oxygen for haters. So, like, basically, if you have something to say that you disagree with him, long hair, don't care, middle finger in the air. You know, like, that's his way of looking at anybody that has anything negative to say whatsoever. And I can dig that philosophy, you know.
Yeah, and it would have to be the national chair's philosophy, because it will come from every conceivable angle.
He reminds me of like middle management in a restaurant, you know, like the general manager of a restaurant. Because they literally have the worst job in the world. They have all the lower managers raising hell at them, and they also have all the employees raising hell at them. And then they have that whole behemoth of layered management that's above them, and they're like the poor nut that's in the middle of the grindstone. And that's basically Nick's job, is to be that poor, grain of corn that is stuck between two slabs of rock. Only when you're dealing with libertarians, it's, I don't know, however many million libertarians there are in the country, that many little rock wheels trying to grind you at the same time, or trying to grind against other people that are grinding you. Like, it's a giant grind fest.
And they wonder why we don't win elections.
I thought giant grind fest were like your wheelhouse. That's what I heard. That's what I heard from Pork Fest anyway.
They were like, so why doesn't your show have any listeners? I don't know. Nicholas Sarwark and a giant grind fest. Something about dirty immigrants and free and open borders and grind fests with Nicholas Sarwark. I don't know. It sounded really dirty. I thought we were on Rebel Love for a minute there. Which comes on when, Ian? No more? It's gone. No. See? That looks so bad that I work for LRN and I don't know that this show's been like, I like this show. Yeah, they've been off the air for a year.
Why aren't you watching for shows to go off the air so we can poach their time? I
For
mean,
real, yo. Like, they were on Saturdays in this time slot, weren't they? No? Fridays? No? Tuesday. All right, well, so Tom, what are you doing Tuesday nights?
A whole lot of nothing.
Aria, see, if you move here, then we can take over the drive time slot Monday through Friday and do a 5 or 4 to 7 show with me and Aria in the studio. And Tom, I don't know if you're even available from 4 to 7 on weekdays, but
I will make myself available. You might have to listen to me yelling at my kids a lot, but we're used to that.
Oh, yeah. We could do the drive time happy hour show for LRN. We could become that, like, totally unnecessarily unhinged, and like, it's funny, but like, I don't really know why. It's on and I can't change the channel because I'm in my car.
Yes, captive audience.
Oh, yes. Ian, I don't know. Ian will shake his head if he's cool with this idea, right? Ian's like, this sounds like it could probably get us taken off at GCN. Oh, wow. So, yeah, what do you think about the idea, Tom? Aria, doing like a 5-day-a-week afternoon show? After I get the bill, after, like, this is like, I'm talking January 1st. Well, not the actual first, but January.
Right.
Because I can.
All we have to do is come up with some content.
Right. Yeah. All we have to do is come up with some content.
Every day.
Well, I'll be snowed in then. There'll be like 6 feet of snow on the ground. I'll have to like shovel my way here. It's only like, what, 2.1 miles or something like that from my house to the LRN studios. It's super close.
It'll be like The Shining, except over the radio.
Yeah! Oh my God! We've so got to figure out a way to work that in to our first radio spot. The first advertisement for us going all week on afternoons. Here's, I don't know, something. All right, so when we get back here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM, we will be going over a whole lot of absolutely nothing. News, stuff people probably care about, but I totally don't. But we're going to talk about it anyway when we get back here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing. The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
All right, we are back here for the final segment of the Call to Freedom live from the LRN studios here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. I tell you what, Tom, Keene, New Hampshire looks like Gatlinburg. I mean, honestly, or Pigeon Forge, or Townsend, or any other of the dozens of beautiful little hamlets and villages that you see in eastern Tennessee in the Appalachian Mountains. That is what Keene looks like. Standing on my front porch, I would never know that I wasn't in Maryville if it wasn't 10 degrees colder and people didn't have a completely different accent and I couldn't get decent service at a restaurant. Or grits. I can't get grits anywhere either.
So basically, as you said, it's pretty much Sevier County up there.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically Sevier County.
It's like Maryville, except everybody's a jerk and the food sucks. I hear they're hanging that on a billboard out the Sevier County exit.
What? We're just like Yankees, only.
No, we're just like Maryville, except the food sucks and nobody cares.
Oh, okay. No, you can get good food in Maryville at like 3 places. No, 4, because Anaba is amazing. Anaba really is amazing. They're a Japanese place that caters to the Japanese executives at Denso there in Maryville. So they have like the wow of, oh my goodness, amazing yum, 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 yum of like a traditional Japanese food. Like they've got the crap that they feed all the white folks. And then they also have like Japanese menus for Japanese customers and like American customers that actually know what Japanese food's supposed to be instead of hibachi chicken, deep fried chicken sushi rolls and stuff like that.
That's a real thing, folks. Deep fried chicken sushi rolls is a crossover item in the South, I'm sorry to say.
Yes, literally fried chicken sushi. Yeah.
Why hasn't somebody taken that and just gone like to the final extreme of it, replaced the rice with grits and put gravy on it?
Oh my God, that sounds good. Oh my God, redneck sushi. I bet I could sell that.
I'm going tomorrow to file a patent for that.
Shut up, statist.
I'm using my constitutional rights. As we all know, the Constitution is incompatible with the Libertarian Party platform.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think you can be a constitutionalist and be not and be like a purist libertarian. I don't think you can be the same. Like Daryl said, if he's like Daryl. I think somebody asked Daryl, like, what are you going to do on your first day in office? And he was like, well, I'm not really sure I'll ever make it to my first day because I don't think I can actually take the oath of office because they're going to ask me to say yes to a question that I'm going to have to say no to. It's like, do you plan to protect this legal document? No, I plan to discard it and dissolve the federal government and replace it with nothing. So he would never be president because he could never take the oath of office. So if you are a straight up radical libertarian, like my principles trump everything, then you could never actually be the president because you couldn't take the oath of office because you can't be a constitutionalist.
But if you're not bound by the NAP, then you could just burn the whole thing down before you ever even have the vote, let alone the oath.
Yeah, but we're civilized people, so.
Oh, that's where the party's really overrated, is being civilized.
Right.
I mean, civilized.
We still follow Robert's rules.
Look who's in the White House. Look at who's in the White House right now. Civilization isn't going anywhere.
Well, we're the party that we elect our chairman based on who is the best at Robert's Rules of Order. I mean, literally, like Nick Sarwark is a legend at Robert's Rules of Order, and that's the reason why a lot of the people in the party who don't agree with him politically still vote for him, is because he's great at chairing conventions. So they keep electing him because he's really good at that part of his job. I mean, there's other time there are times like with this last thing where he was like, nope, libertarians don't believe in that. where he was great at doing the other part of his job. But he is always great at Robert's Rules of Order. And I guess you're right. Being the most civilized people in the room sometimes is a liability.
Yeah, especially in 2017.
In the American political landscape, yes.
That's one of those things about the LP that's always struck me is all about freedom of association until it comes time for a good old-fashioned rules fight on the floor. And then it's time to dig up all the bylaws going back to 1973 to see what the founders thought.
Yeah. Why not? If you're going to have an argument, you might as well do it well. I mean, come on. If you're going to waste time arguing with somebody, I want to win.
Oh, Lord. All right. Well, I'm looking at the clock. Aria, plug your book.
Well, it's called Dancing in Hellfire. It's on Amazon, and it's about what it was like growing up in Mississippi, being transgender and having psychotic, fundamentalist, drug-addicted parents.
I think it's funny that you say those two things together. Fundamentalist Christian drug addicts.
Why do you think it's funny? You lived here.
Yeah, I know. It's just because I lived there. Because I lived there, and I grew up with the generation before the idiots that were doing that stuff. My dad's 83, Tom. You know, so I grew up with I literally grew up while that all was going on, but with parents that were raising me like it was 1960.
Yeah. See, it's available on the kid.
83?
Do what?
Did you say your dad is 83?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought we'd already established that Will is very underrated as an actual crotchety old man himself.
Yes. I am a grandpa. My granddaughter's name will be Sophia, and she's going to be beautiful, inshallah.
Yeah. You're going to want to put
How can I buy your book? Where can I go? What website?
Amazon.
How much is it?
I don't have the exact URL on hand, but just search for Dancing in Hellfire on Amazon.
And purchasing your book will help you in your efforts to relocate to the Free State, correct?
It will. Correct.
Woo! Buy Aria's book.
100% of the money is going toward.
Buy Aria's book if you can buy enough. How's this? If you listen to the show, you like the show, you want to hear LRN have a full-time 5-day-a-week drive time show that you can listen to in your car on your way home from work, then buy Aria's book. Buy her book so she can move up here and we can have two hosts in the studio so we can do a live show 5 days a week from LRN Studios in the afternoon, and we can do a drive time happy hour show right here on LRN before Free Talk Live with guests, the whole thing.
Am I still correct about this, Aria? You make more money if people buy the Kindle version than the print version. Is that still correct?
Correct. Yeah, because the printing costs are so high. I mean, if you prefer a printing version, obviously go for that. But the Kindle version is cheaper, and I get a much bigger cut of it. I mean, and even in raw numbers, I get more money from the Kindle version.
Can I buy your book in Bitcoin? Since Amazon...
No, not strictly. Somebody bought a copy in Dogecoin, though.
Well,
I mean, if you want to send me Bitcoin,
well, now I could if I went to saveitpurse.com, though. I could put your book on there and buy your book with Bitcoin at saveitpurse.com. Now, does LRN has a contract with them, right? So that LRN gets money out of those purchases as well, a little bit. Yeah. So go and do that. Buy Aria's book. Either get the Kindle version, or if you're like me and you want a copy of it that you can put on the shelf, then buy it with Bitcoin at saveitpurse.com. And help Aria in her efforts to move up here to the Free State. And we can put a 5-night-a-week show on for you where we do the same thing we do tonight, which is absolutely nothing.
More of it.
Be completely unprepared and not talk about anything, but still have fun doing it. So, all right, guys. So next week we have nothing lined up for next week. We're going to have funny things that we say. We're going to have a guest maybe if we can find one because I'm really busy. Tom, go find us some guests. But we'll be back 10 p.m., same time, same channel, right here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
Email is easy, instant, and free, and that can be real embarrassing. Email lacks the eye contact and body language you get in face-to-face conversation, or the tone of voice and other nuance you hear in a telephone conversation. Email is just words, often few words. We're all smothering in spam, so we often reply in terse fashion that's easy to misunderstand. And email doesn't cost you a postage stamp, and it lacks the deliberation time it'd take to walk to the snail mail box. So it's easy to succumb to the "oh yeah" stimulus response trap. When in doubt, don't snap back at snippy messages you get. You may have mistaken the sender's intent. And unless you're sending AOL to AOL, there's no unsend. For more tips on critical communication skills for the way things are now, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Freedom Fiends with Michael Dean and his weird friends.
Mr. Michael Dean, and this is my show, Freedom Fiends.
I love that.
I hope you like it. If you don't, I don't really care. I don't make it for the masses. I make it for the cool weirdos who are up late at night. Insomniacs, swing shift workers, the homeless. Yeah.
People in other countries.
People in other countries who are at their day job that's 9 to 5. Good point. Good point. The unemployed, the underemployed, the worried.
Okay, y'all. Now, if y'all are feeling a little worried tonight and you've got a hamster running around in your brain, we have a solution for you. Just put your hands on your computer or your telephone, and the spirit of the fiends is going to come rushing right through, and it's going to heal you.
Listen on LRN.FM Monday through Friday, midnight to 2 a.m. U.S. Central Time, and weekends, noon to 2 p.m. U.S. Central Time.
The 3 most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same great prices, and LRN gets a cut. Please do your online shopping at shop.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
The latest edition of Remso Republic is next on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.fm. Get more at remsorepublic.com.
This is Live Free and Grow, a podcast from the Remso Republic with your host, Jason Carrier.
Welcome to Live Free and Grow. My name is Jason Carrier. This is a libertarian homesteading podcast. I'm very excited today. We're actually going to be joined by probably the most famous farmer in America, Mr. Joe Salatin. He's authored 11 books, and his book, Folks, This Ain't Normal, should be on every libertarian shelf, much like Rothbard or Tom Woods. And with that, hello, Joe. Are you there?
I am here. Thank you, Jason.
More than welcome. Excited to have you today, sir. Why don't you go ahead and tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a farmer in Virginia's Shenandoah Valley, and I co-own Polyface with our family. Some people may know Polyface from being written up in Michael Pollan's book, Omnivore's Dilemma, or the documentary Food, Inc. We're the good guys in that documentary. And I'm second generation here, and we now have 4 generations on the farm. My mom is still a very active 93-year-old, and then Teresa and I and our son and his wife, Sherry, they run the farm day-to-day operations. He basically gives me my work schedule, and then their 3 kids are grandchildren. So that's one of the exciting parts. We came into the farm in 1961. My mom and dad bought it at that time. I was just 4 years old. And grew up here and started the business of trying to halt erosion and doing a lot of experimentation. Dad was a visionary, and but never made a living from the farm. He or Mom, they worked out to pay for the farm. So when Teresa and I got married, we were able to stand on the shoulders of a generation that spent less than they took in, and we're able to launch then from that equity pad of not having to pay a mortgage. But there was no going concern. It was just raw land and very poor land, in fact. But we were able to build a farm business on it. And today we have about 20 of us total on the team, and we direct market everything. We do beef, pork, chicken, turkey, eggs, ducks, lamb, rabbits, and forestry products, and we service about 5,000 families in the urban sector and about 50 restaurants and half a dozen retail outlets.
Outstanding. Yeah, I'm actually a customer of yours as well, so I'm very, very happy with your product. But one of the things that I think is most interesting is, I've read your books and I understand your libertarian leanings and some of the regulations that because I'm a farmer as well, that we have to fight against with the EPA and the FDA and all these third government agencies, and it makes it really hard to live as excuse me, drop my mic. It makes it really hard to live as free on your own land as it's almost impossible to make a profit and live free.
Well, yeah, that's right. I mean, the fact that I'll give you our latest story. People think that when you write the book, it's the end of the story, but no, it's an ongoing saga. And so 2 years ago, one of our previous interns who has a degree in culinary, she has a culinary arts degree from Culinary Institute of America, came back to us and said, I'd like to launch a meat pie business. And of course we know our customers would love that. Basically Polyface Hot Pockets. And so said, sure, let's do it. So we had put in a wonderful kitchen here on the farm, and so we had the health department come out and take a look at it, and they said, that's great, it's all good to go. And then as they were leaving, they said, but wait a minute, where's your bathroom? I said, well, we've got 2 in our house, that's 100 yards away. Got 2 in Mom's house, that's 100 yards away. We've got 2 in Daniel's house, that's about 150 yards away. what's the problem? They said, oh no, you have to have it actually attached. I said, well, can it be a composting toilet? Oh no, it has to have porcelain fixtures. I mean, the whole deal, licensed, septic, blah blah blah. We're talking about a $30,000 deal, and so I said, but now wait a minute. If we had a food truck, they said, oh yeah, well you don't need anything if you have a food truck. I said, wait a minute. You mean if we put this kitchen on a chassis and tires, we could sell meat pies out of it without any bathroom whatsoever, but since it's not on a chassis, we need a bathroom. They said, yes. I said, can you please explain to me how that makes any reasonable sense at all? And, of course, the guy looked at me just with his blank stare and said, of course not. But what he said was, yeah, we know it's a loophole, and we're trying to close it. So all you food truck guys, get ready. Pretty soon they're going to be asking you to strap a porta potty to the back of your food truck. I mean, it's insane. Here we've got customers that want a product. We've got expertise, entrepreneurial expertise to make the product. Both parties in this arrangement, we're talking about voluntary consenting adults here exercising their choice. And those are all very powerful words, I understand. But we live in a time of choice. I mean, you can choose. You can choose everything. It seems like you can even choose, what sex you want to be, and so we've got all this choice out here. But suddenly, if you want to get a polyface hot pocket, in fact, I've talked about offering a polyface pot hocket. Everything is backwards for a reason. They're better. Instead of a hot pocket, it'd be the hot pot, the pot hocket. Anyway, laugh at my own joke. That's pretty poor, isn't it?
No, I understand what you got going on.
So here you've got consenting adults wanting to exercise their voluntary contractual ability to entertain commerce to each other, neighbors, if you will. And you have this plethora of agency regulatory oversight that quashes the whole thing. And so the tragedy of this is twofold. One is this gal who has this desire to build this business can't start a business. We are impaired from being able to market our product. But the biggest tragedy is that the customer who desperately wants to opt out of Walmart and Little Debbie's and Hot Pockets and whatever is stymied, even denied choice because of these bureaucrats that are in between their discretionary choice. And that's the real tragedy. It's hard. I wrote a book, Everything I Want to Do is Illegal. And the hardest part in that book was trying to explain to people that in a day of overflowing supermarkets and four-color labels and pretty packaging designs and all that, you actually, it seems like a time of unprecedented choice, but actually it's a time of unprecedented choice denial. If you get Dolly Madison's cookbook or Martha Washington's cookbook, you will find in there fruits and foods and recipes. We don't even know what they are now, currants and boysenberries and all these things. I mean, you can't find those in a supermarket today. Raw buttermilk, raw milk. I mean, the stuff is likened to cocaine. And so, here we've got a culture now where it's completely safe and fine to feed your kids, Coca-Cola, and Mountain Dew all day. But, a glass of raw milk is a hazardous substance. This is how far we've come from just reasonable interactive commerce between two people.
Well, I hate to say, I think it's somewhat more insidious than that. You want to control the population, you got to control their money, control their health care, and control their food supply. And they own our money. They're trying to take over our health care, and they've almost regulated an independent food supply out of business.
Yes, and the biggest tragedy of all is that that the food that farms like us produce, because it is a round peg in a square hole, the regulations that we do have to comply with, because obviously we have to comply with something. I guess we don't have to. We could go to jail, but we pick. You can't fight every battle that's worth fighting. You kind of have to pick which battles you want to fight, and so we do comply with a lot of things. But the compliance is always size prejudicial. It's always concessionary toward the big guys and discriminatory toward the little guys. All regulations are like that, because while they start with great intent, or we could argue that, but let's give it the benefit of the doubt. They start with great intent. By the time they actually get activated, they always discriminate against the smaller players in the field, and they subsidize or help or whatever the biggest players in the field. And so then we get accused by many in the country of being food elitists. Our prices are high and blah blah blah. Well, the reason our bacon is $15 a pound, it certainly doesn't cost us that much to make bacon. It's because in order to legally sell the bacon, we have to send the pig to a federal inspected slaughterhouse. We can't slaughter it here on the farm, and then it has to go from there to a USDA licensed smoking or curing facility, which charges us $5 a pound, because they don't like dealing in small quantities. They're used to getting in tractor trailer loads of stuff from Smithfield, and so we're a pain in their side, and so they charge us an arm and a leg to do what they don't want to do, and we can't argue. They're the only place in Virginia. You can't take it anywhere else, and we can't do it here on the farm, because curing meat on the farm is manufacturing, which is illegal in an agricultural zoned area.
That's crazy.
So the fact is that we have $10 in the product before we've even paid the feed, paid for ourselves, and paid for the pig. And so we could do this. We could, if we could do all this at home, we could do all this for $5 or $6 a pound and charge competitive rates. But instead, there's this perception of elitism, because we're in order to squeeze this round peg in a square hole and get compliant. So the result is that these absurd requirements actually lock out medium income and lower income people. Economically disadvantaged people then are further locked out of an integrity, nutrient dense food system, because the integrity nutrient dense food system doesn't fit the industrial compliance paradigm. And so it's this vicious circle, of disempowerment of the innovative, integrity, and economically disadvantaged class.
Hey, Joel, I want to take a quick commercial break, but I would like to come back to the nutrient dense, because I think that's important. I don't think a lot of people understand that the food they're eating is, they can be overeating and still starving. So one quick second while we have a word from our sponsors.
Stay up to date with the latest news and updates by visiting RemzoRepublic.com.
The New Patriot Manifesto is not just a rehashing of 20 million different books you've probably read before about why liberty matters. The New Patriot Manifesto is exactly the title. It's a new manifesto for the next generation of patriots. How should we look at cybersecurity, the surveillance state? Is the gig economy growing? What about self-defense, free speech, things that matter all the time, but they're aimed more towards the next generation of liberty leaders and people that want to take on the challenges of tomorrow. The New Patriot Manifesto comes out November 24th and is written by Eli Bowman. You can go ahead and find it on Facebook to get ready, and you can check out your own copy onto Amazon. That's the New Patriot Manifesto by Eli Bowman.
Well, hello again, America. It's me, Jeff Sessions, and I just thought that I would update you on what we in the Justice Department are doing for you. First off, we just passed a law that allows us to just have a little look-see, and in Maryland, Virginia, and D.C. to ensure that the Metro rail system is safe. Now, I know you're thinking this goes against not just the intent, but the actual wording of the 4th Amendment of the Constitution. But that's only because you're reading it in English. You gotta squint your eyes and look at it like an ancient Sumerian text in the super secret part of the Constitution that we don't let you public read. So until next time, America, we're gonna keep you safe. Not free, safe.
Because that's what really matters.
Speaking with Joel Salatin of Polyface Farms. Joel, before we took the commercial break, you mentioned the nutrient-dense food. Can you expound upon that?
Sure. Nutrient density has to do with how much nutrition are you getting per pound. And a lot of people don't realize that you can have two carrots that look very similar, but they actually have very different, and they both weigh, 7 ounces, but they have extremely different nutritional properties. And so we have actually submitted our foods to empirical nutritive testing several times, and know others who have as well. And it's amazing the differences. Let's just take the one that Mother Earth News magazine did. Several years ago, with 12 of us pastured egg producers in the country, they took about 12 nutrients and sent them to a lab and compared them to the regular USDA, the official nutrition label on the dozen eggs you see in the supermarket. I'll just take one on ours, folic acid. The average, the USDA, nutrient label is about 38 micrograms per egg, and ours averaged 1,048, and I think maybe the supermarket egg was 48 micrograms, and we averaged 1,038. But anyway, the point is, this was not different by a magnitude of 5% or 10%. It was a magnitude that was multiplicative off the charts.
Yeah.
This is the same with, for example, riboflavin in beef. Grass-finished beef typically has about 300% more riboflavin in it than grain-finished beef. Well, we say, what's the importance of riboflavin? Well, riboflavin is what's called the calming fatty acid. It's one of the fatty acids, essential fatty acids, that actually makes your nerves calm. And so, you wonder why there are all these shootings and road rage and people flying off the handle. Well, they're not getting riboflavin, and so their nerves are on edge. They're, they're RDD. They're, they're nutso. And so these things have real societal repercussions. One of the most interesting ones that we found out just lately, it wasn't us, but it was one of our former interns that started a pastured poultry operation in Kentucky, and he's actually gotten into supplying one of the local school divisions. And you say, well, good grief, how can they afford to to pay his prices? Well, the dietitians actually submitted his chicken to nutrient cooking testing, and they found that his chicken lost 30% less weight in cooking than the regular chicken they were buying. So they could pay 30% more. They could pay substantially more for the chicken and still meet the minimum school lunch protein requirements, because they didn't have all that water loss due to the plumped up chicken that's in the factory farms. So this nutrient density is a real deal, and it means you simply don't have to eat as much in order to be hunger satiated. And it also means that the balance, the ratios of the different nutrients are going to be substantially different than they are in the store bought, in the regular industrial stuff.
Outstanding. Hey, Joel, you also mentioned your intern program, because I know one of the things that you like to harp on, not harp on, that sounds wrong, but one of the things you like to talk about is the fact that you can make money farming. And, I read the intro to You Can Farm, and you guys are producing, you're doing okay. And I think it's something that it's important, because a lot of libertarians are young, and they're struggling with their college debt, and they haven't realized that they can make a good 6-figure living farming on a small piece of land. So can you talk a little bit about your internship, and then how to make money farming?
Well, those are all good questions. Well, our intern program is actually pretty formal. We open up our website with a special email address for queries August 1 to August 10, which is not that far away. We're actually just a couple of weeks away from opening that up for the 2018 season. And all those queries get an application, and that's filled out, and then we go through every one of them, and we pick about 50 of those to invite to the farm for a 2-day, what we call a 2-day checkout, which usually happens in early December, and everybody has to come and spend 2 days with us, eat with us, live with us, work with us for a couple of days, and then from those we generally choose our 10. So the internship lasts from May 1 to September 30. It's a formal 5-month program, and then August 1st, we interview the interns that we have right now who then want to stay on as an apprentice for next year. Then the apprentice goes from October 15 to October 15, and the apprentices then become the first-level managers of the interns. So all the apprentices have been through the intern program. It creates a lot of continuity, and it creates a good vetting program for the apprenticeship, which those guys, they're really a integral part of the inner sanctum of the team. Now, as far as making a living on the farm, that's why I wrote the book You Can Farm, and I've got a new one coming out. It'll be available within about a week, I think. Ship it from the printers, and the title is Your Successful Farm Business, and this is kind of a You Can Farm 2.0. It goes on beyond. It doesn't repeat anything in You Can Farm, but it goes on beyond. But there are numerous really specific principles to make a good living on the farm, and obviously one is to live frugally, even if you got to live in a teepee for a while. But keep your living expenses down. Grow for yourself first. Eat yourself first. Every dollar you save is worth $1.30 because you don't have to pay taxes on it. So whatever you can grow yourself, make yourself, every dollar you can save doing for yourself, having your own firewood for heat, your own vegetables for food, your own animals, your own milk cow, whatever. But all of those dollars that you save in living expenses are dollars that you don't have to report on income tax and don't have to pay any taxes on. So those dollars actually are way, way more valuable. And then beyond that, produce things that you can direct market to your local community. And there's a lot of things that enter into what is a good candidate for that. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities, even including in forestry. I think one of the golden opportunities today is a sawmill, a bandsaw mill. These are light, they're not expensive, they're $7,000 to $8,000. You can be in business and you can start milling lumber in your community for people. And we do this in the community. Everything from hardwood floor blanks to to mantles, to hay wagon decks. I mean, people are always wanting lumber, and you can cut it specifically to their needs. If they want a 3x3 or a 1.5x2 or a 1/2 inch by 1, lab, you can cut all that custom cutting. So yes, a lot of this is essentially integrating yourself into not only the social and economic structure of the community, so that you're meeting needs within the community, but then you're looking at your little piece of land, and you're not thinking about one item. You're thinking about the symbiosis of numerous items in permaculture fashion. You're stacking enterprises on a land base so that you actually, when you sell and you have a customer, that customer that got lamb will come back and get eggs, or the ones that got chicken will come back and get a beef, or the ones that got milk will come back and get blackberries, and you simply stack these things on in order to increase the income per acre. And there are plenty of people who make a fine living on just 20 to 25 acres. I mean, there are people that are making money on 1.5 acres doing high value things like mescaline mix and that sort of thing. That can be done, but that's a market that's becoming much quicker saturated because it is so easy to get into. But hey, if you like growing greens and mescaline mix and produce, Jean Martin Fortier up in Canada has definitely perfected that, as well as Elliot Coleman. Three Frogs Farm in Sebastopol, California. The Lean Farmer in Ohio. I mean, these are the gurus of the day in the produce realm, and a lot of them do extremely well.
Outstanding. So, Joel, one of the things I've been trying to push, and I really want the Libertarian Party and basically everybody, because I've been polling a lot of my friends and family and just about anybody I talk to, is a constitutional amendment to stop property tax. I think property tax is a way of stealing land from poor people. How do you feel about that?
I was unaware of that for a long time until a guy sent me essentially a white paper on it. I must admit that I was ignorant about that essential movement, argument as a movement, and I had never thought about it in the terms that he presented it, which I'm sure you're up on, and I'm a believer now. Now that being said, I'm not ready to just sign off unconditionally, but yeah, I think for your listeners, the thing to remember is probably the quickest way that I do now to explain to people why our context is different than in 1960 when Mom and Dad bought the farm. When Mom and Dad bought the farm, the land was $90, and a stocker calf and an acre of that land would produce 2 stockers a year, which would bring in about $270. So the land, if we say the land was 90 and what the land would produce was 270, that is a 1-to-3 ratio, land to production ratio, 1-to-3. Today, that land is 7,000. The calves are worth, let's say, 1,000. But that has changed it from 1-to-3 to a ratio of 7-to-1. Now, that is a 21-fold, I think I've got the math right on this, that's a 21-fold shift in ratio. And that is why people my age remember talking to fellas who said, well, I bought this farm and, we raised a crop of wheat, we raised some cattle, and I, did a group of hogs, and, we paid for it in 2 years. The ratio was so different. What's happened now is the ratio has completely changed, the value to production. But the thing is, that value has changed without any regard to more rain, more sunshine, more frost-free days, more soil. There's nothing about that 21-fold difference has been instigated by anything farming related. And so I don't know if your property tax, extends to residential or whatever, but I can tell you that that every study done, even by very greeny liberal environmental groups, that studies government services cost versus per acre. The taxes gleaned, the property taxes per acre versus the cost of providing government services in every single one, even with equalization, with tax equalization formulas and all the stuff that's been done to try to, take the edge off of this, even with all of that in the equation, farmland still only costs something like 40 cents on the dollar that it pays. Residential costs about $1.30 per dollar that it raises. And the reason is because cows, plows, and sows don't require schools, roads, or jails. Residents do. The problem, though, is that cows, plows, and sows don't vote. People do. And so there's this gradual erosion of equity pay for government services in the urban sector and a gradual prejudicial overpay in the rural sector. And that creates an undue unfair financial burden on the farmer to compensate for this widening tax versus services gap that the urban sector creates.
Yeah, and the way I look at that is, when it comes to property taxes, you've taxed my income at 39%, plus my Virginia state income tax. You taxed me on the sales tax when I bought it. Why do I have to rent my own land from the king for the rest of my life? It just seems fundamentally wrong. And I agree with you. We seem to be forcing everybody away from rural areas and into urban areas. And I've often said that the cities are the new reservations. We're locking people up and we're harboring, we're locking them down with debts, and they see no way out, which is one of the reasons I want people to learn to cook, learn to grow, learn to feed yourself, and then get the hell out of the cities. Yeah. Well, that's well said. And they go in the city and they drink fluoride. Yep. Which rots your brain out. So yeah, I'm with you. I mean, the fact that in order to stay on this land, you have to pay a king's ransom just to keep from being evicted. Yep. That's immoral. That's simply immoral. So, and then when you add to that the fact that the land value and therefore the tax base has exploded in recent years without any empirical benefit of value adding to that benefit, is just add. We say it adds insult to injury. Yeah, no, especially for a lot of farmers and a lot of homesteaders and preppers, they opt out and they homeschool their children. They're actually using less and less resources because they believe they can provide a better product than the state can. And I happen to agree with them. I have two girls who went to public school. They're in college now, but when I go chair like the Christian forensics debate conferences, I'm just blown away at how smart some of these homeschool kids are. Oh yes, absolutely. There aren't very many things. There aren't very many things that the government could do better than the private sector. And the idea of an educational voucher system. I mean, we could argue whether education is part of the government's responsibility. I mean, as a pure libertarian, I would say it's not. But even if we said it was, even if we said it is, and we had a nice sit down discussion with a
a public school apologetic, a person that we've got to have this public education. Then the question is, well, how? What's the most expeditious way to do this? And to not allow the discussion of vouchers to enter the discussion. Just every parent that's got a school-age kid, give them so much money and let them shop it. And all education becomes privatized.